What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. Yesterday, I saw a movie called Dreamland, starring Margaret Robbie, Travis Fimmel, and Finn Cole. First of all, there are some weird things going on with these release dates, man. And I know, yes, this is not the first time that this has happened. But when stuff like this happens, I feel I have to mention it because it's just strange to me. Like, this movie came out 2019, right? Last year. It's just now being released November the 13th, last week, 2020. So my question is, was this movie meant to be released yet? Or are they just rushing it out because, COVID is ruining a lot of people's money right now, the film industry as well. And so they just need to get some money real quick. They don't care if it was done or finished or what. And so that's a question to ask. That's a question to think about as this review continues. And so let's continue this review. All right. Dreamland. Dreamland, for those who are not aware or don't know about this movie, and I'm not surprised if you don't, because this movie just popped out of the sky. It just jumped out of the sky. All right. I'm surprised. It's as much as you are. But Dreamland is about a young man named Eugene who grew up on a farm during the Great Depression, which means his crops were ruined. They're battling with the drought, suffering from that. They have all these big windstorms that come through and just tear everything up from time to time. So they're going through a lot. Now, with all that going on, you have a lady running around town who's been accused of allegedly murdering 5 people. Her name is Allison Wells, which is played by no other than Margaret Robbie. And, so she's on the run, right? Now, all of a sudden, she finds herself in the barn next to the house of our good friend Eugene. And of course, he finds her. She convinces him not to say anything. They become cool. And then she convinces him again to run away with her and help her escape. Alright? But that's not all. You have to also keep in mind that Eugene's stepfather is a bounty hunter, man. A bounty hunter. So think about that. So think about that situation. And that's how the plot, as they say, thickens. Alright, now, positives for what they are. The positives, I have to say, man, the trailer is everything for this movie. The trailer is everything. If you go by the trailer of this movie alone, it will have you believe that this movie was just the greatest thing ever. That this movie is the game has been missing. All right, like where was this movie all this time? God dang, where was this movie all this time? That's how you're gonna feel. That's how I felt. The visuals, how everything was shot, just how the storyline was laid out through the trailer. I gotta give props to whoever edited the trailer because you did a great job. You did a bang up job. Gotta say that. Now, a second positive for this movie. I don't know about anyone else or how anybody else feels about this, but for me, I've always appreciated a great love scene. All right. As long as it makes sense with the content of the movie and it makes sense with the plot and it has some creativity to it, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. All right. Just as long as it's not just thrown in there because it's sex. It's random sex. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Trust me. But, it's got to mean something to the movie. And that was the case for this. Because, let me tell you. It's just the way this was shot. Like, it starts off, it's a shower scene, right? But you can only see him first, which had me worried. Had me worried for a minute. And, but you could hear her in the shower trying to convince him to come in. Lord knows why that needed to be done. But, she had to convince him to get in the shower, and it was getting to a point where I was thinking, okay, they're never going to show her. And so I was about to press that fast forward button. And that's when, they slowly show her body come from out of the shower. And then, they commence to making love. The way that was shot, it was just so smooth. Like, it was so smoothly done that, it deserves to be in that category of great love scenes. It was that, I gotta give it that. I gotta give it that, at least. All right. Another thing that I liked, or, of the few, the action, towards the end of the movie is when the action kicked off. Towards the end. That's when the action just, started pouring on in, as you could say. Now, it's not saying much because I'm now coming into the negative zone of this review. Because it took so long for the action to pop off, man. That first half of that movie was tragic. It was tragic. It was so boring, the first half. Okay, nothing really happened in the first half of this movie. You had to wait. And yeah, they had like flashbacks where they showed some action scenes going on, but it was not enough. It was so quick. It was so quick and almost meaningless. Not to the plot, but just to your visual pleasure. It was meaningless. Okay? It didn't mean anything until the last parts of this movie. And yeah, I know there are other movies that have done this as well, where they wait so long until they show the actual action and just feed you dialogue for most of the movie. The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight did it. But the difference is the Hateful Eight was such a good movie and had such great writing to back it up that it didn't mind. You didn't mind that you had to wait for that action. Okay? Let's get back to this. Before I lose focus, man. Another thing about this, the narration was horrible. Whoever did the narration for this movie, man, I'm sorry, but I was grabbing for my pillow. The voice will send you to sleep. The voice will put you, if you have trouble sleeping, if you have insomnia, just turn on this movie and listen to the narration. You will fall right asleep. You will be good. You don't need any sleeping pills, nothing like that. It was trash. I really wish that they had made the choice to have Margaret Robbie's character do the narration instead, because that's proven to work with other movies where you have the main character do the narration. I prefer that. Like Wolf of Wall Street, it worked wonders for that movie. it worked wonders. Okay, they flip flopped on that narration, man. It was horrible. It was horrible. Another thing about this movie, the acting was so bland. The acting was horribly bland. Like it. Look, I've seen the animatronics at Chuck E. Cheese do a better job of acting than these people. Okay, I don't. Who was their acting coach? Who was their acting coach? Because everybody seemed to act the same way, like robots. Like it was just no. There was no emotion or feeling, or just what trying to get to that next line. That's what it felt like. Even for Margaret Robbie, and she did her best job she could in the movie. And it still felt like she was kind of just being fed the lines. Putting her emotion in there, but she did the best she could. She did the best she could, man. And I'm also disappointed in Fimmel, man. I'm disappointed in Fimmel too, because he did a better job in Raised by Wolves than he did in this movie. I don't see how this came out apparently before Raised by Wolves. So I don't see how they saw this and said, yeah, let's put him in Raised by Wolves. I don't see how they did that, because nobody was interesting. Maybe except for the main character. That's it. Ugh. Okay, that was it, man. You look, and I don't know if I have to be going any further with this monstrosity, man. This movie is obviously going to get a hell no. And this is my first hell no. I believe this is my first hell no. I'm gonna say, look, I'm saying this because in order to get to the good parts of this movie, you have to go through pain. You have to go through so much pain with that first half of the movie. I don't know who else can make it through that. I had to, because this is what I do. I had to. But I don't think a lot of people are going to make it through that first half of the movie. It just dragged on so much. It dragged on so much that I lost focus. I started looking at my phone a little bit. And I'm not going to lie, and I shouldn't have read this, but while I was looking for the movie to download, my eyes kind of leered down at the people's thoughts on this movie who have already seen it. And I literally saw the word pillow. That's all somebody wrote was pillow. I knew, and I had to jerk my head back up. Like, don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to that. You got to have your own opinion on this when you watch it. And I did. I had to clear my head. I had to clear my head. And I did, but I still understood what they meant by pillow. As the movie progressed, or whatever it did, I automatically understood what they meant by pillow. All right, that was well deserved for this movie. All right, I don't know what Margaret Robbie was thinking. I'm highly disappointed in her, because she also was part of the production of this movie. You know better. You know better. Why did you do this? I know you weren't alone on this, but you know better than this, Margaret Robbie. God dog it, man. I hate to do that. But I'm going to get off this. I want you to like, share, subscribe, and hopefully we can get back with some fire movies.